Hi everybody, Russell Mohammed is 11. The heavens have opened. That's ominous for today's guest. Hope everybody's safe and well. New to channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of any time I put new content on. Today's guest, it's pure nepotism. This one is. He's my brother from another mother. We've been friends since 6 months old. There we go. He also famously inadvertently played pornography at West Ham. The concourses, do you remember that?
I'd forget something like that.
We'll get to that. It's my best mate, Tom Taylor. Not the Tommy Taylor. Well, he's the Tommy Taylor, but not... We'll get into that as well. How you doing, big man? How's things?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a bit full up. I cooked pizzas, so I'm a bit full up now. Yeah, part of this... this new lockdown skill of baking and stuff. So it was quite nice.
Putting it in the oven.
Yes. It was like I was back at Pizza Hut. Oh, the good old days. For those, as I said, for those you don't know, me and Tom have been mates since we were like literally 6 months old, and so it's as I said, this is going to be his YouTube debut, and also it'll be interesting because all his mates at work watch Miami's 11, and they don't know he's coming on, so it's going to be a surprise as well. Tom, earn some brownie points. Who are shout out some of the blokes in the office?
Well, we have Stuart. We got a couple of Stuarts actually.
Stu Dog,
Phil, Tony. Problem is, I'll get in trouble now for forgetting.
It's like the Oscars.
It is like the Oscars, yeah. My parents, I'd like to thank my parents.
God, so, everyone.
There's a number.
Exactly. And how has, obviously, we know because we talk quite often, but how has lockdown treated you, Tom? That's the question I ask everyone.
It's been fine. Difficult at first. Ange and I've carried on working at home. And we've had the boys at home with us. So we've had the whole homeschooling. That was difficult.
You've muted yourself. Have I muted myself? Or am I? There we go. Hello.
Were you muted?
Yeah, I could hear you just then. No, I'm sorry.
Well, I just had newfound respect for teachers. Was all you missed after the lockdown. But we're kind of in a routine now. We're all right. Things are getting opened up a bit. And just being sensible.
Being sensible, exactly. Yeah. And doing our bit as well. Wearing our masks, doing our bit.
Absolutely.
I still feel really funny when I see someone not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Do you know, I just...
Bit odd. I haven't asked anyone to put one on, though. I couldn't do that. I just take a breath and look at them.
Well, the thing is, they can't see, if you look disappointingly at them anyway, so it's like...
I could be smiling. I have no idea.
You could be. No one knows, really. But and obviously, we talk about football. Obviously, West Ham still in the Premier League, thank God.
Yeah, really came back well after lockdown.
We certainly did.
Antonio.
Yeah, it was just a bit weird, I think, Antonio. He just hit his sort of vein of form, which I don't... He sort of always plays like 2 or 3 good games in a row, then gets injured usually. So it's weird for him to have a prolonged, 9-ish games, of decent... And then obviously, typically, West Ham, we all bugger off for holidays now, so...
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll start the season strong and we'll have 9 good opening games from him as well. And goals and,
it'd be good. It'd be good.
We'll see. Next season,
we'll see. It is, and we'll see what happens. I think the fixtures come out next week, don't they? So we'll see who will inevitably lose in the first game of the season, and then my my blind optimism at the beginning of the year, the close season gets dashed as always every year.
Away at Liverpool. Oh, good.
Yeah, away to Liverpool, Man City, and West Brom away. Brilliant. We'll lose all 3. And Fulham. Just throw them in as well. Might as well. And Leeds. We'll play them all in the first month. And we bottom the league, and then all the optimism of this close season will actually go to pot as always. But we'll see. I'm looking. I do think this is going to be our year this year. I don't know why.
To do what?
Good point. That's the thing.
A good cup run.
Everyone's crying out for a good cup run. I want us to. The League Cup. I think I'm not being funny. No one gives a shit about the League Cup, but for us. It would absolutely be awesome if we won the League Cup.
I'd buy everything. I'd buy, the celebratory T-shirt, the cup, the ruler, anything that comes out. I'll have it.
The Carabao energy drinks.
Yeah,
You'd be like, I'll be drinking them every day instead of Red Bull. They'll be replaced.
Around 10 years later.
Commemorative West Ham Red Bull for winning the Carabao drink for winning the. No, but it was always weird with those ones because I remember last season they've had really weird places to do the draw. I remember last year when I was working at the old gaff, they had one in our local Morrison's down the road when I was in Colindale.
Really?
And yeah, it was the Carabao Cup was drawn with, and it had a big picture outside Morrison's with John Barnes. John Barnes was doing it like it's so random.
And cashier number 5 doing the
yeah, exactly. He just took over Morrison's in Colindale, and it was a hive of activity there. But and I'm because my marketing exec Tay, he's probably watching. He went. I let him go off early to go and watch it. Just because he loves football and stuff, but yeah, just weird. And I remember the year before, if I remember, literally they were doing it somewhere, and everything went down, all the Wi-Fi went down, and then it all came back up, and the draw was done. I was like, okay, that doesn't sound too dodgy. So you've got to win it. I just want to have a go. I think everyone's dying. Everyone I talk to on this channel is dying for it.
An entertaining season. Some real good goals scored, and do well in a couple of cups.
Beat Tottenham, beat Chelsea. That's basically our season in 6 games, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. That'll do me. I mean, everyone took the piss out of, Big Sam and the Kirbishy years.
Yeah.
Boring mid-table. But to be honest, I think I could do with one of them now.
Yeah.
It's been a bit squeaky bum the last few seasons since we obviously moved over, and it'd be nice to just have an easy one. You know what I mean? Where it's not, we don't have to. I mean, I talked to someone the other day, and when the fixture list comes out, the first thing you do is look at the last game and you go, right, who have we got to beat to stay up? Okay, we had Villa. And I was like, oh, that's going to be a 6-pointer. And it almost was, but yeah, no, it's and we've got all the what was it? The pre-seasons are all starting now soon in a couple of weeks. So I think they come back
Scotland.
Yeah, going to Scotland. They're playing 2 games. I think it's Tuesday, the 25th of August. 2 games exactly the same time at, I want to say Wickham and I want to say Luton, but it might not be Luton. But I noticed it the other day, and apparently they're splitting the squad in half, which is very impressive. I'm going to find out exactly, because if I don't say who it is, then someone will comment on them, because they always do. They always trip up on what I say. And it is, he says, Wickham and Ipswich.
There we
go.
go.
I've heard of social distancing, but that's ridiculous, isn't it? Having 2 games at the same time.
Well, we'll get someone catch the virus in both camps, is what will happen.
Yeah.
And we'll be,
absolutely up the paddle.
Food poisoning at the end of that famous season.
Oh, Lasagna Gate, God bless. So, we see the West Ham shirt, Tom. And yes, indeed, you got the memo. I should have worn mine. Would have been so. We could have matched. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I actually got that one out today. I don't know why I didn't put it on. Anyway, so the first question I ask everyone is why West Ham, Tom? So
yes.
Why is West Ham your club?
Well, probably a fairly unique reason for people, who come on the channel, and the reason is you.
Hello.
So I remember. I got into playing football at junior school, and was just, it was like typical junior school football, quite aimless and just running around chasing anything. No one cared.
Yeah.
I was put in goal. I just kind of like, can I play? And they stuck me in goal.
Yeah,
and I thought, I've been accepted. This is amazing. And actually, no one wants to go in goal. And they were just like, yeah, you can go in goal. But, I was like, oh, brilliant. So I really enjoyed playing. And then one day, it just suddenly got organised. And it was suddenly like, right, let's do Arsenal versus West Ham. And I was like, I didn't really understand the words, apart from anything. I just remember turning to you and saying, which team am I on? And you were like, West Ham. You're West Ham, mate. Yeah, you're West Ham. And so there it was. And from then on,
Yeah, well, it's from then on.
It has cost me 5 league titles, 8 FA Cups, 1 League Cup, and the European Cup Winners' Cup. know, but I'm not an Arsenal fan, so that is.
But exactly,
I'm at a
you're not. You're not. It's not an Arsenal fan, and you know, I probably said it at the time, Tom. It wasn't about the football. It's West Ham is not about the football. It is a state of mind. It is a community rather than a club, and I think that's what comes through. And you know more than anyone, obviously, Tom lives in sort of the heartland of West Ham and Tottenham fans. Basically, a lot of West Ham players, you particularly not nowadays, but back in our day, so to speak, used to live around there. You know, we've had Shaka on the channel, and obviously Monks and Bish, and they were all around our area. I won't say where our area is because I don't want to give away the address to Tom's house. But yeah, it was always West Ham, so it was always a West Ham area. So you were sort of like stuck, really. I mean,
very happily so as well. And of course, I got to go to lots of games with you and your family, which was fantastic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And you're right, it's that kind of family atmosphere, and it's I think the first time you kind of walk in at Upton Park as it was, and just feel the kind of, we'd be there early and just feel that buzz.
We'd be there early because old John Bridge wanted a car park space, so we had to get there early because he couldn't park.
I thought that's when everyone turned up for football, sort of 8 hours before kickoff. But it was it was fantastic, and once you've been, you get hooked. And some of the players we've got to see over the years, it's been well worthwhile.
Oh, definitely. And obviously, famously, not only did I burden you with this team, but also I changed your dietary habits as well.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Not just football, but I took him off vegetarianism as well. So I'll get hate for that as well now. But yes, the West Ham, if I remember correctly, the West Ham vegetarian option was probably a roll.
I think it was crisps.
Roast beef.
It was absolutely freezing, and I needed hot food because I was, turning blue. So I was like, "What do they do that's hot?" And he was just like, "Sausage roll."
Yeah.
I'll have one of those then, and that was it. Slippery slope.
Started with West Ham, as you said, and then and then you missed all those cup wins, and then the diet and heart disease, because obviously all the meat you're consuming now rather than vegetables and a too much of a protein rich diet. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about experiences. And you're right, man. It's like when you and doing this whole thing and going back and talking to fans like of our era and like before and after, you forget how many good players or how many players in general sort of came through the door. It's mental, really. I mean, we've had about I haven't got my spreadsheet open. We've had about 200 or something different players turn up, and that's mental when you think about because everyone has a different twist and stuff. But it's all fun and games, and as you said, and then not only that, so not only did I burden him with West Ham, not only did I burden him with turning his back on vegetarianism, but then I got him a job at West Ham as well, which was fucking hell. That's like the royal flush.
Yeah, I can't wait for what's next.
Exactly.
Am I up front next season?
Well, do you know what? On that Tuesday, I'm taking my boots just in case. We'll offer something different off the final. See, back in the day, me and Tom were cracking Wembley doubles pair. It's like back in the day. It's like no one would be up against a Bud and Taylor combination. No. But yeah, no. And so Tom as well. So Tom would do all the. He worked for another company who did all the concourse tellies. So Tom would have to go around with his remote controls, making sure all on and putting the content on and stuff. And,
like played adverts that I'd have to make sure were played and all that.
Yeah, and it was a good excuse. So then me and him could hang out, as well as hanging out at school and after school and stuff. We could then go out and hang out on Saturday as well, and no one would mention it because we're both at work. So it's fine. And it's like this, we can chat, and your wife, my wife, can't say nothing because it's a YouTube thing. Yeah. Well, she in earshot. Although Joe's she's proper into it's all Australian things at the moment, like Married at First Sight Australia, and now there's a new one. She really random. She started to watch the other day, Designated Survivor. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I've heard of it. No, not seen it.
I thought it would be nowhere near what she wanted to do, but she's honestly, she finished. She was really depressed today because she knew it was the last episode, and she was watching it, and as you know, and then you get that last bit at the end where it's like next episode, appears, and her little face, it was like Christmas. Honestly, she was like, series two, and then series 3, 44 episodes. I was like, oh my god, that's it, we've lost you. But that's all right.
By Monday.
Yeah, exactly. She'll have it by Monday, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I've got nothing to watch now." But it means that I can come and chat to you and do this, so it's all right. And that's part of the reason why I've done it. So as you said, so obviously Tom would do the I had to go around. Obviously, he had the joys of meeting a lot of people that I worked with as well. So you had Ron. God bless Ron.
Yeah.
I thought I saw him the other day. Actually, I saw Ron the other day, and other people. We don't mention names because they still work at the club. But yeah, so and then as I said, Tom famously inadvertently played pornography on the concourses. If I'm right in thinking, because I was thinking about it today, if I remember, wasn't it the porn from the West Ham Hotel channel somehow?
Yeah. Someone ordered upload. Someone decided it was an hour before kickoff. People were just coming into the ground.
Yeah.
I was going around switching on the TV screens, and this image kept flicking up and going away really quickly. So I was like, that's weird. But I just carried on, and I'd got as far away from our booth as you could possibly get, and I was like, it kept flicking. I thought, I'm going to watch this because something's not right. And then it came on, and the picture held for like 5-10 seconds, and it was
pretty graphic.
So, I've never run so fast in my life. I kind of bombed it down out onto the pitch, flew down the wing faster than anyone else that day, on the phone to you, trying to get you so you could turn it off. It's just so embarrassing. And someone ordered up a load, an hour before kickoff. Probably thought, why not?
Pre-match nerves.
Yeah, must have done.
Just knock one out. It's like boxers, isn't it? Boxers don't have sex before a big game, so before a big batch. So it might have been these sort of adverse effects, and someone thought, they were getting, but who knows? But yeah, so when everyone was meant to be watching adverts for, I don't know, Dettol or whatever, they were watching Debbie Does Dallas.
Tell you.
So, it wasn't hygienic. Whatever happened.
Hygienic. Good Lord. I went into Ron was head of security, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I thought I'd better own up and just kind of let them know what's happened, because I didn't have a clue what was going on, and I went in. Usually we played whatever Sky game was on, and people would come in and watch the second half. So I went in and said I've had to turn it off because this content is going out. And his response was, you can't turn off the football. It's like, well, I can't play pornography either. Just like children coming in.
Granted, there are some balls on the photo, on the image, but
yeah, they were. Too many for my liking.
One too many.
So that
one too many. But yeah, no, it was just It's one of those things which we always laugh about, and it's still. And I'm gonna be funny. You've probably had the best
at West Ham. No one else has got that claim to fame.
No one has, and I don't think I've given anyone such an introduction as that. Even John Moncur, even Pete Butler, even Butts didn't get the same one. And Butts, it's quite ironic, really. But yeah, no, even he's it's quite an accolade, I think. As you said, there's not many. Yeah. Unique, exactly. We haven't had that as a story on there. Obviously, as I said, Tom's name is Tom Taylor, which has I remember at least once it had a sort of a what's the word? I've gone, but a funny story, because obviously, we all know about the famous Tommy Taylor, who played for West Ham, played in defence for West Ham, and obviously he was manager at Orient and played for various other clubs. Now, me and Tom, it wasn't a trial, it was like a trial thing, weren't it? It was a weird sort of thing, I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, something like that. I think we'll say it's trials. We had trials at Orient, because he was obviously so good. We went to it was Brisbane Road, didn't we? We had to go there, and we had to sign in and hand over some things.
Yeah.
And obviously Tom handed his name. He says, "What's your name?" "My name's Tommy Taylor," and Tommy Taylor was the manager at Orient at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
To hilarious consequences.
Well, she didn't believe me.
She didn't believe it.
No. Sort of I finally convinced her to go and check. I was like, what? Because I was, 14, 13. I didn't have a driver license. So I was like, it is my name. And she, all right. So she finally turned around and went to check. And of course, it wasn't there. So she came and go, no. So she saw just a couple of kids winding her up. And closed up.
Just like celebrity celebrity. Get me out of here with the guy at the Bush Tucker trial. He just pulls his thing down if you get the question. That's like, no, sorry, bye bye.
Had to go back to camp. Sorry.
Back to camp. No treats. No donuts. But yeah, no, it was. We've had some funny scrapes in our time. But as I said, we do this thing. Is Miami's 11, and we sort of pick this 11. So now. People like to, now. I'm led to believe you may have a theme, Thomas. Is that correct?
I've got a theme. Yeah.
Would you like to reveal? Would you like to reveal your theme?
Is 11 players who made their debut for West Ham after turning 30.
Love it. Hey? Love it. Golden Oldies 11.
Yeah.
Unique. Not just a unique name, but a unique story, but a unique 11. So that'd be cool. So yeah, 11 players. Who made the debut, and I love it. It's gonna be fun. This is good. I think, and actually, do you know what? I think it's a really, it's a lot of research gone into that. But also, West Ham is always a club that people come to bookend their career. Yeah. It's either they're young or someone like Joe, exactly, or someone like Joe Cole. He bookended his career completely with us. As he started, and then as he came to retired, it's not in the middle. Very, very rarely do we have that when they're in their peak. No. Do you know what I mean?
They kind of get them when they're getting really good.
Yeah.
And then when they're not so good anymore and kind of going the other way. That's
we need something for a season or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to be fun. Right. So what we'll do is we'll start with in goal. So who's in goal for the geriatric 11?
Geriatric 11. Well. So I tried to, before looking up any names, I tried to just kind of come up with it on my own.
Yeah.
And the first name that came to mind for goalkeeper was Jimmy Walker. So 31 when he made his West Ham debut. And he was, he's a good character, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I liked that as a name. I thought, well, that's good. I liked him. I do like a goalkeeper who's a bit of a character.
I think they have to be, don't they? To be. They used to be, not now, but they used to be.
Well, not now, exactly. But I'd rather watch someone like Bruce Grobbelaar or Fabien Barthez. Someone who's just a little.
Yeah.
Not that Jimmy Walker's a little bit, but
but he was different.
He's just a bit, fun.
Bit of a lad.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. So that was the first name, straight in, Jimmy Walker. Brilliant. And then later I started to do my research. And the number of goalkeepers who have made their debut over the age of 30 are Joe Hart, 30.
Yes.
David James, 31.
J-Mo, really?
Jussi Jaskalainen, who was 37. Fabianski, he was 33. I don't know what that makes him now. He must be about 42. And of course, David Martin, who had a great, famous debut.
Yes.
Just gone.
Yes.
And it seems to be, we'll go through this with some players about, kind of how an age can kind of match the position in a way. And we do seem to go for goalkeepers with that sort of experience.
I think, it's experience. Yeah, you're right.
Shaka, I think, was 29. Craig Forrest was 29. So by and large, we go for a sort of near 30-plus goalkeeper. So sticking with Jimmy Walker, that was the first one.
Yeah, but, good old Jim. Good old Jim.
List of goalkeepers.
Friend of the channel.
Is he
he's a friend of the channel. Honestly, we're going to get him on eventually. He's a very busy man, but a friend of the channel, and he'll love that. He'll love the fact he's in the old blokes 11.
Well, I didn't call it.
No, he's not. And you're right. He did a job that when he came in to do us, when he came in for us, because he was like, and famously you had the playoffs where he got injured, didn't he? Do you remember? Yeah. And then he got booked. I remember he got booked when he was on the stretcher for the challenge. Typical West Ham. Yeah.
That's what you want. You don't want Alisson or Kepa. You want a player who's been booked. while they're going off the pitch.
While they got off the pitch. And I remember because Bywater came on and everyone was shitting themselves because he had hardly played all season. And it was like, such a big game as well. Huh?
Lama? Was it Lama?
Oh, Bernard Lama, yes,
Bernard
makes.
Lama. Yeah,
Yeah. No, Bernard Lama, God bless him. Again, I think you're right. I think it's that sort of experience we don't have. But it might be just across the board. I think if you looked at goalkeepers, with the exception of maybe someone like Kepa. Actually, nowadays, ignore me because nowadays you've got Kepa. De Gea must have been mid-20s. Edison. Alisson, they're all young. They're all sort of reasonably young goalkeepers. But maybe for something for West Ham, we need that reassurance.
They're
going
to be busy, so they need to be.
They're going to be busy. They're going to be busy.
Out of defending.
Right, we'll put Jim in. Good old Jim. Boom. Right, okay. We'll go into. You go through the team as you've got it written down, mate. Go on, you go as you want to go.
I've got it written down in formation.
Very good.
Formation doesn't matter now, does it?
Doesn't matter. It's out the window now. We're doing this.
Because midfield was hard, which I'll come on to. So left back, I'll go for. I mean, it pretty much picked itself. Stuart Pearce.
Oh yeah.
37. One who again, didn't bookend the career. He's just come at the end, like a lot of players also do. But 37, and you're thinking, best days are behind him. But he won the Hammer of the Year.
Yeah, he did.
And played 50 games, scored 3 goals. And, obviously we kind of like that type of person at left back.
Yeah.
We did. Obviously someone who's quite tough and going to be strong in a tackle. But, a far better footballer than they're ever given credit for.
Oh, definitely.
And that's, Stuart Pearce for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. We like that sort of hard man left back, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, we did. We haven't had one decent probably since Piercy, I reckon, but like a consistent one. But Stuart Pearce, man, the not the original Psycho. That's David Cross, but as I've been told, the second coming of the Psycho. We'll say that. Right, Piercy's in. Who's next, man?
Right, centre backs. I've got Igor Stimac.
Oh, I might have to type this one in.
I dredged out of nowhere.
Igor Stimac. I mean, he was. He was. He was solid.
Good, solid Croatian defender. Again, probably he was 32, so he probably had his best kind of days at previous clubs. But I remember him being pretty solid and doing all right.
He was good. It was Derby, wasn't he, beforehand?
Yep. Yeah.
And I remember because him and Slav played centre backs together at Croatia. So that must have been a proper hard centre back pairing. Him and Slav. Fucking hell.
Be all right.
But solid. I think he even got a couple of goals for us as well.
He did. I didn't write it down. I wrote it down for the others. He got 1 or 2. Yeah, he did.
I think he got 1 actually. I think because I was looking at him the other day. He was solid. I saw a picture of him the other day. When some football players look like the same as they did when they played.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's very Alan Devonshire. He looks completely different.
Is he?
He's had a good Christmas. Very sort of E.L. Berkovic now. I can't speak. Like I say, I can't speak. But he's. I think maybe it's the hair.
In someone who was a professional athlete, but then he's probably had 20 years of no Christmas and on a diet basically. So it's no surprise really.
He did score one. He definitely scored 1 league goal for us.
1 league goal.
There we go. I was right. I knew. I was looking at 1 goal wonders the other day.
You can almost
All right, Igor's in. Who's next?
Igor's in. Well, so I wanted Javier Margas, another name I dragged out. Do you remember him?
And we've got a special connection because wasn't it your mum had to look after his kid?
Something like that. He went to the school, And
he didn't speak no English, and I remember your mum having to look after him, or you, or Babs, or someone else. One of them had to look after him.
Yeah, so I wanted him, but he was 29, rather selfishly, when he made his debut, nearly 30.
Bastard.
But I wanted to remember he coloured his hair again, just slightly crackers.
Yeah, he coloured his hair when he went AWOL. Because he apparently, if I remember what the story was, he jumped out of a window at the Marriott. Or the Swallow it was at the time. Why he just didn't walk out the front door? Don't know. But he jumped out the window and got he basically got a flight back to Chile, and everyone thought, oh, he's gone AWOL, he's done the boogers or whatever, and he then came back with claret hair. I think that's the right story.
Quite possible.
Just West Ham in that Harriet Redknapp era. That's just a normal story.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he came into Burton's when I worked in Burton's, and he came in and sort of bought a load of shirts. And you're just sort of thinking, surely you're on like, $8,000 a week or something, or
But that was different. It was different then. It was different then. You'd walk into Morrison's and see Shaka Hislop, or buying his. That's what I said. That's what. Abu. I served Abu at when it was Safeways at the time, and Paul Kitson in Woolworths, buying the pick a mix. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Buying that bin bag full of pick a mix.
I do. No wonder he didn't score at the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Too busy on flumps. Such a rad.
I couldn't go for him, sadly.
Okay.
But the replacement's more than fine. Neil Ruddock. 30. And again, 30, I'm kind of looking at it. Again, my memory was sort of, he was sort of, probably 35, 6, kind of toward the end of his career. Oh, no, 30, pretty much in his prime. Played over 50 games, 3 goals. And of course, just, you get, that mad era that we had. But forevermore cemented in everyone's hearts thanks to the Ian Wright celebration and mocking Paolo Di Canio.
And then we signed him.
Paul Alcott. Yeah, exactly.
But also, I remember the story. I think, didn't he have to get special shorts made for him? Like, literally, like 4X. Nowadays, you buy shirts in 3X, 4X, but he had to get shorts made for him. I believe it's 4X or maybe 5X, something like that. But, that was,
or something like that.
Yeah. he was the last person I had in the back of my shirt. Was Razor.
Yeah.
Razor Ruddock. Razor Ruddock.
Good lad.
What a guy.
He goes in fairly comfortable.
Brilliant. Yeah, love it.
So right back, and again, there's a few names that came to us toward the end, a bit like Pearce.
Yeah.
He kind of did all right. Chris Powell, he had a bit of a renaissance in his 30s, didn't he? And I've completely forgotten. Nigel Winterburn, he was 36. He had a good season. Yeah. But Pablo Zabaleta.
Oh, you got to put Zabs. Yeah.
Really came in. I think he really committed to it. After City, he could have just been like, I'm on the end now. But I didn't get that feeling with him. He really seemed to, love his time and,
And he seemed to, and I don't think, we, particularly last season, we had, obviously, Ngakia and the saga afterwards, but then we've got Ben Johnson, and it seems we had a couple of good right backs, and I don't and by all accounts Zabaleta was a good influence on that sort of those younger fullbacks, and it's a shame. He's obviously to be honest, he was getting proper found out last season. The pace of the Premier League now is ridiculous,
he was probably 30. He was 32 when he joined, so he's probably 34, 35,
something like that.
Premier League.
And he was never rapid, was he? He was never rapid. And so, you had people like, obviously, you had like the Manes, and they, for example, with the Mane, we played Liverpool, we put Ngakia right back. He made his debut, which was a bit of a risk, but they knew Mane or Salah, whoever decided to go on that side, would tear Zabaleta a new one. So, even the guy from Watford, Sarr, absolutely, every team's got a rapid speedster on the wing now, and you can't have where you could get away with Stuart Pearce or a Nigel Winterburn at left back. You can't do that now. They have to be. They're almost wingers, aren't they? Fullbacks,
exactly.
Almost
they
wingers.
need to come forward, not just stick back. They've really got to, commit something forward as well. So, but it was a shame. But it
was
pretty comfortably made it. Just probably not a good last season, but
no, but no one did they? Apart from Antonio, really.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, go on, the midfield. Here we go.
Midfield.
Square peg. Was it round square pegs, round holes, whatever it is, probably.
I stuck with midfielders in the end. I mean, I could have just chucked 3 more strikers in there and just got them to do some sort of job. I didn't. I tried to keep it to players I saw as well.
Yeah, good man.
And that kind of thing. And then someone who, played a good few games for the club, didn't just sort of do a couple, because there were a few on there. I could have gone Sami Nasri, fantastic player, brilliant player. He's not for us, No. But so I decided to go for someone who at least gave something a bit more to West Ham.
Yeah.
So sadly he didn't make it. So I've got a 3 in the middle. Pretty much the only 3 I could clobber up. Mark Keller. Thought he was
Mark
all right.
Keller. There's a new one. Mark
Great.
Keller. Mark with a C as well, I believe. No, I was watching some of his stuff the other day, actually, on the old season reviews. I forgot what a good play was. I remember he scoring against Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he, and yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah,
I like Mark
two
Keller.
games for France, I think.
Yeah.
My eyes lit up when I came across that one. It's not one that occurred to me immediately, but
No,
I was going through the stats, and there he was. So I've gone with him.
Yep.
In the middle, I did cheat a bit on this one, to be fair, but it was a struggle. But good player all the same. Robert Lee, again, I'd forgotten.
Rob Lee
didn't play a whole load of games. He was 37. Again, end of the kind of career. Really, I remember him doing all right.
Yeah, he's a West Ham boy.
Yeah,
Church lad. He still lives in Allchurch. Trying to get him on
player.
the channel, but yeah, and he did a great. He was good servant for England as well, wasn't he? He came on and did a job for us. I remember we had that spate, didn't we? Where it was almost every season we'd have one.
Yeah,
wouldn't we? We'd have like a couple of veterans. It was like Championship Manager, where you sort of in the off season you see who's the free transfer, you just get them anyway, and then you sort of like put them in the team somehow. But Rob Lee, God bless him, and obviously his sons play for us as well.
Yeah.
So it's part of the Lee legacy.
Yeah. There's a good connection there. Otherwise, it's sort of Freddie Lundberg. I don't remember him covering himself in any glory particularly. No. And again, he was 30. It's sort of, you look back and think, blimey, we surely could have got more out of him. But that was in that infamous sort of around the Biscuit Barons time, I think, when we were, shelling out money for all over the place. And I don't think it particularly worked out. That's my memory anyway. I might be hopelessly wrong.
No, it didn't. It did. No, you're right. We had who put Freddie in? Someone's already put Marie Parks, so Phil's daughter. She put him in, but it's only because she fancied him.
Yeah, and I don't. So
and I don't. Yeah, exactly. We're not that way inclined, so he's not in.
He's not in. No.
Okay.
So not for him. I could have gone Papa Bouba Diop, which is a great name.
Friend of the channel.
Nicknamed the Wardrobe. Was that him?
Do you know what? I think
such a big unit. I can't remember,
could have been him. It was either him, because again that was a spate where we had quite a few athletic, sort of African-based players. We had him. We had Abdoulaye Faye. We had Mo Diame. It was all the Allardyce era. Yeah. Now, obviously, because when you said the Wardrobe, I thought of the Fridge, and he played American football, didn't he? Yeah. But do you know what? The great thing is, we go, was he called the Wardrobe? And then about 2 seconds later, someone's watching this, will type, yes, he was called the Wardrobe. So we'll find out later. Kent Hammers will put it on. So he always does. He's my
brilliant nickname. If it wasn't, it should have been.
Yeah.
Fantastic nickname. So that was the centre. On the right, again, my eyes lit up. I was so pleased. Nobby Solano.
Oh, do you know, that was just in my head. That was in my head just then. I was like,
Season, he was 32, scored 4 goals. Is it the trumpet he plays? He's sort of a meme.
Yeah. He's he's Peruvian, isn't he?
Yeah. I could just see him whipping in the crosses.
Great free kick taker as well.
Great free kick taker. So I was really, when I saw that, I was like, fantastic,
And again, he came, because obviously Rob Lee came from Newcastle. Nobby came from Newcastle as well. I think Stuart Pearce came from Newcastle as well. I think he played for Newcastle for us. I think. Yeah, I think. We just get their cast off. But and he was a good player. I mean, he was an exciting player.
I just remember being pleased when he joined. I mean, I know he was sort of, probably he'd had the best years at Newcastle, but it's just that kind of name. I don't know. He came, you think, Nobby Solano. We just,
It's a good name on the team sheet, isn't it? Is that when you look at the team sheet, like they stick out like those names because they're just so synonymous with the Premier League and stuff.
Yeah,
like Rob Lee and Nobby Solano and people like that. And he was sort of that. And he was that sort of. I remember because he was so good at free kicks. And then we hadn't had anyone who was good at free kicks before, since probably Julian, and Piercy obviously can belt him, but no skill. And then obviously we had nothing really for a while consistently until maybe Payet. He was probably the most, after that. But Nobby was always a really good free kick taker. It was always exciting when he took his free kicks. I remember he scored a good one against Derby. I think it was Derby. If it's not, someone will call me because I know fuck all really. I just remember
Right.
these. So I think it was Derby. He scored a good free kick. If
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm mistaken, and someone will say I was wrong. But there we go.
I wrote down he scored 4 goals.
Well, there we go.
That's probably wrong as well.
Could be one of them.
Could be.
Could be. Right. Okay. So that's your three.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have who's your 3 goal getters.
It was pretty easy in the end. We'd had Les Ferdinand, Brian Dean. So we had some names again. That sort of latter end of the career.
Newcastle, Les Ferdinand. Yeah.
Yeah. But the 3 were pretty easy. So the first one's Ian Wright.
Ian Wright.
Scored 9 goals. And again, just part of that fantastic era that we had. I can't imagine how that dressing room was ever controlled at all. I mean, it just, I've listened to the stories from the people you've had on, and it was just absolutely mad. I can't.
It's just craziness, isn't it? And it's like, but they were all like, we just seemed to have like loads of characters all at once. As you said, we had Razor, we had Righty, and there was just like this endless procession of new characters, and obviously we had these sort of these Stuart Pearces and playing sort of bit parts, and then we had like that just weird Redknapp era. Then we had sort of these random foreigners turn up, and some would just go back off into a caravan, or we'd bring people in, and then they'd realise where Oxford wasn't so close to Upton Park and go home. And then you had like the young pretenders coming through as well. These Tony Carr graduates. It was the most exciting time to be a West Ham fan in our era, I'd say.
Yeah.
Never had that excitement.
That only kind of Tony Carr era, I suppose you have to call it.
Yeah.
It was just every young player who stuck out was ridiculously good. I mean, if we could have held them, if we could have stayed up and then just held them another season, who knows? It's just the great, unanswered what if for West Ham, I think. But it's such a shame. It's still, now I think about and then just kind of like, that twinge of just if we could have kept them a bit, just a bit longer.
Everyone feels the same, isn't it? I think everyone felt the same at that time. But unfortunately, I think that's the way we always are going to be positioned, unless I don't know, we find a few £billion in some dodgy van outside London Stadium. We're going to be like that. We are. We're not Man United. We're not Man City. We're not Chelsea. We know we should. We know. I think we know now our position because we tried to be a big boy and it sort of blew up in our face a little bit. We know where we are at the moment, and it might be we have to be a bit of a selling club for a few seasons. Buy them young, not flip them, but buy them young. Couple of seasons, off they go. And then
keeping
I think
a solid core, isn't it? Keeping a,
exactly.
then kind of adding some of the players in. And just recruitment, once they've gone on, get the right ones back in again. I mean, that's what every Premier League club's doing outside of, the top 6. And some are very good at it. Sheffield United look like they'll be, good at it. Burnley, perhaps not so good last season, but they've been great at it. So there are some models out there to look at.
Yeah, totally.
Unless £4 billion comes in,
But then again, it's like I was saying something the other day.
I'd enjoy it actually. I don't know. Maybe I would if we won everything.
But I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy. I'm the same. I don't think I would enjoy it. I'll be honest. I'll be like, I think everyone has aspirations to be taken over and spend all this money and buy Neymar and all this stuff. But in reality, I just think, for us, we get, I think West Ham fans have always been. We see the best in those small, those small trips to 3 Point Lane, whatever, every season, and just those 2 or 3 times a season. That's what we live for. We know we're going to go and lose to Burnley the week after, but we know we're going to turn up at these games, and I think that for a lot of fans, if we win, this year was unusual. This year we didn't lose the bottom 3. That's never happened. Yeah. We always lose the bottom few. But if we could just get a few more wins, I think a lot of West Ham fans would be happy. More, because I wouldn't want all that. It's really weird, but I don't think I'd want to be in Man City's position. Because it's like. It's a bit like American football, American football, and I love those, I love those Amazon, All or Nothing, obviously the Spurs one's coming out soon, but the American football ones, every year it's a new team, almost a new team, and that's what it feels like. You know, Chelsea, you know, new team, and that won't work out. Okay, we'll sell 3, we'll buy 3, new team.
Yeah.
You get no continuity,
Yeah.
and you can't build an affection with the players.
Yeah.
Whereas West Ham, you know, I just don't think. Yeah, exactly, and I don't think we have. We just. I think we'd lose that. We'd lose that connection with the players, and we haven't got it with a lot of players, to be honest. But you know, even people like the Cresswells and stuff like that. I mean, he's been here. Winston Reed's been here 10 years, really. If he carries on with us, and you know, so it's you just have that affection with players. I just don't. I think with success, you lose that, and yeah, you win the title, lovely, but to what extent, you know, it's like, and then you get Liverpool, who are sort of the exceptions to the rule. They have had a bit of money, but they've built a project, you know, and they've had a goal, and they've gone and bought the right players to fit that project, and they're sort of an exception. But I just don't. Although saying that, you know, come you know, whenever it is May, and we're like vying for the Premier League, I'm like, you know, be like totally out, completely, but completely different from what I was saying now. But,
exactly, it sounds good until it's in front of you, and then
yeah. Oh, do you know what? I quite fancy Champions League football now. But do I? It's a lot of evening games, and you know, it's like the Europa Cup.
We've got to dream. It's good to dream. You know,
you've got to dream, but
otherwise, why are we doing it? You know, a cup would be great. You know, we're late 30s, to be polite, and
we are.
We haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen a Intertoto Cup.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I
was going to say
European the year there were 3 winners of it or something. It's just
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We probably played the weakest team in the final. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But no, I know what you mean. And
entertaining football.
But it's like European football. Right. It's like, you know, we talk about like Europa League and everyone getting, you know, great, but you know, it's an arse to get actually, you know, from
as well.
It just is, isn't it?
Yeah, it just goes on far too long.
It just goes on far too long, and you've got like 3. You know, I mean, when the 2 times we've been in it, obviously we get knocked out before we get into the main rounds. We lose to some, you know, some random teams, but it's just an arse. And then you're like, you've started your season really early, and like you said, was it Burnley did it a couple of seasons ago, and they just went to pot a little bit. You know, Wolves may be the exception, but they towards the end of this season they didn't get work so hot, and then they get knocked out, and that's it. You know, it's all they. I mean, they started like way before everyone else, didn't they? Because they went for the qualifiers as well. So
I think their season was over 400 days. I know we've had the problem in the middle, but you know, all that qualifying, and then all, you know, just to get into the tournament, and then the tournament, and then the knockout stages, and the league. It's just
At least if you win the cup, you go in sort of an earlier round, and then you get. And if you win the cup, and then obviously you get. Well, you got last year you got to buy in the League Cup, didn't you, into a third round and stuff. It's like now they're saying, oh, we haven't got any replays. It don't matter. We just get knocked out by Oxford United anyway. It doesn't make no difference if home or away. Another game makes no difference for us. Yeah, I mean. All right, let's put Righty in, man. Who's going to be next?
Next, Teddy Sheringham.
Oh, Teddy.
Yeah, no, but you know, seriously ridiculous. I mean, 38. Oh, yeah. So really should be, you know, what we got here kind of thing. My memories, he was just the best player on the pitch every time. Never had pace anyway, really. Positioning was just perfect. You know, would just pop the ball off one touch. Again, free kicks, fantastic. Great in the air. Played 49 games, scored 30 goals. You know, 30.
He was top goal scorer that season, I think. I'm pretty sure he was top goal scorer.
He got Hammer of the Year. And ultimately ended up the oldest player to score in the Premier League, you know, 40 years. I don't think it will be beaten unless the goalkeeper longs one in. Was
he the oldest Hammer of the Year ever? Good question, Russ. I'm sure someone will answer that. It's either him or when Billy Bonds last won it. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where because Bonzo, no, cause it might have been Billy Bonds in '87 because he would have been something like 49. Could have been. Well, it's definitely one of the oldest, if not the oldest, I reckon. Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Because someone like Stuart Pearce as well won Hammer of the Year. So it's these sort of, and also Ian Wright. Ian Wright we'd always announce Ian Wright as man of the match because obviously he'd almost like he hadn't even got on the pitch for like maybe 5 minutes, and Jem would announce Ian Wright as the winner, because obviously the sponsor would meet the man of the match, so Ian Wright would be on the pitch for 5 minutes, didn't maybe even touch the ball, and like today's man of the match, Ian Wright. It's like, what? But it's like they want the picture of Ian Wright afterwards. There might have been Arsenal fans or whatever, but yeah, it's something about the name as well makes a big difference.
Yeah,
as you said, Teddy won it, Stuart Pearce won it. No coincidence, I don't think.
No.
Okay.
No, just fantastic player.
He was, and you're right. I mean, again, he never relied on pace ever in his playing career. So,
and he looks like he could still play. Like he's probably in the Premier League. Like if his heart was in it, he just caressed the ball around, and I think he'd probably still do it.
Really stylish player, weren't he? And he could bring other players into the game and make them look good. Players who weren't very good, he could make look good because and it's something that I'm gonna say it's one of the ex-players was talking about Julian Dix in the same night. Julian Dix made him look like a better player than he was, because what he would do is he would pass a ball, and that was the guy's first option. So it was like, no, you go there, and it looks like he made the run, but actually Julian kicked the ball and he followed. And Teddy was the shame. It was almost like he would, someone like Colton or whatever, or Marlon, he would play him in, and it was almost like that was a ground by Marlon Hayward. No, it was the ball, and he sort of you know what I mean. Tom knows what I mean. Telepathy. It's Wembley
controlling the game, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when you're
exactly someone, he's thinking, well, he should be running in there. He isn't. If I put the ball there, he's got to go.
Yeah.
They get the goal, get all the credit, but it was really,
It's like when you play squash, and the really good players, the ones who stay right in that tee, and just make you look silly because they just hit the ball around. Clearly, I don't play a lot of squash, but when we used to down the police club, whatever. All right, we'll put Teddy in, and who's the last position? Who is the last position?
Well, last one's easy because he was 30. Paolo Di Canio.
Just scrapes in.
No, he does but I mean, you've probably had it in every single team, every video you've done. Just what a player. I mean, an honour to turn up and watch him. And if he played badly, if it wasn't happening for him, he was still the most entertaining thing on the pitch.
Exactly.
Because he's remonstrating, with the sky, and he's beating the floor, and he's taking his shoes off, and he's throwing them off the pitch, and and then still getting the ball from Moncur or something and going on a run.
That's why we love him.
Such fantastic value to watch if he played badly, and then when he was on it.
That's a good point.
But
he was never boring. You're right. He was never boring. No. He was either mesmeric or he was impetulant. Petulant? Yeah. That's a long word for a Saturday night. It was either one or the other, wasn't he? And
I mean, some of the goals he scored, the passes.
Yeah.
I always liked he would regularly kind of do a similar trick to get around someone. I mean, he'd be, if he was on the left-hand side going into the box, he'd shape to cross it in, and you knew he was going to turn it back inside to his right foot and then probably go back left again. He knew it, and probably the defender knew it, and he still sold them the trick every single time. I mean, it was just, just fantastic. So it's easy, very easy
one.
But
you're right. I mean, you're right. We seem to have had a plethora, another long word for Saturday night, a plethora, and I'll say it again, of defenders, lots of forwards at the edge of their career. But you're right, that midfield bit.
No,
so maybe because the energy, you need a certain energy to play midfield, don't you? As you said,
makes sense. You really kind of see it's the engine room. So goalkeepers, we've tend to gone for, probably genuinely is because they're going to be busy. They need to know what they're doing. So we've got the over 30s, kind of pros, good players as well.
Yeah.
And then up front, there's quite a lot, over 30. But and it's just that midfield, you really kind of see it, that energy room, engine room.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to do the other side and do like the spring chickens. So like guys who've made their debut in their teens, and I think for them it'll be harder finding the goalkeeper and defenders. I think obviously midfield's slightly easier. Strikers, forwards, young, energetic. Freddie Sears, people like that.
Freddie Sears, yeah.
But yeah, that sort of maybe Neil Finn. I'm thinking of Neil Finn, but I don't know how old he was when he played that one game for us. But yeah, we'll get someone will then in the comments go blah, 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 and put the 11 down. So yeah, but we'll try and keep that and get someone else on because I think that'd be quite fun. That'd be a good one. Tom, man, pleasure, absolute pleasure, my man.
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed it. It was good. It was good fun researching it all as well. I mean,
it just gives you something different, doesn't it?
I was like, no, not that long ago, like Raz Van Rat. I was like, who? And it starts to come back to you, and
yeah,
you're like, of course. And
Raz Van Rat, he's appeared in someone's 11. So Charlie Walsh from Hammer's Chat, he put Raz Van Rat in purely because of the Christmas catalogue when he was posing in a Christmas onesie with Adrienne.
I think I remember.
Yeah, he looked so happy.
The rounds.
He looked so happy. It was lovely. But yeah, no, good old Razvan. No, it's one of those things. I think, and that's when people talk. When people, when I say, do they want to come on, and they said do their 11s, and they go, oh, it's so hard. I can't think. But what I think is easier is if you've got like you've done, you thought of a theme and went with that theme because actually it helps.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It does.
Okay, right. I'm thinking of old people. Who are old players? It's like, okay, who's old? Whereas you go, oh my god, if it was like your favourite 11, you could probably announce 50 players because it's just all different eras. But no, I enjoyed that.
Do I go with the best 11 or the sort of the ones I liked who for some reason stuck with me?
But then they always. This, I think. Yeah, I know, definitely. I think, and the viewers will because they love different ones. That it's great to hear people's favourite ones, but when people think of things creatively, it gets people going, and there'll be comments. Oh yeah, and then obviously people, from me and Tom's era, probably sort of mid 90s onwards, properly for Tom maybe sort of 2000ish, roughly that area I reckon. When you probably got into them, so obviously people will be, going, oh, in 1974, Bob Miladio. Mark Miladio. Yes, God, that's a blast. Oh, fucking hell, where did that come from? Mark Miladio. He played for us for 12 games against, from Crewe, and that's the whole idea. It'll just start a new conversation about the goal.
About some of the older things.
Honestly,
it's nothing I'd have given much thought to.
No,
obviously, particularly, obviously apart from the normals who we hear about, but.
That's why I love it.
To hear about some of the other players.
That's why I love doing it because I've learned so much about the old, like before my time, and it's like, and you start putting the pieces together a bit better. Yeah. I mean, I'm rubbish about seasons, like what season was what. I just I go, well, I do it by shirts, so it's like, okay, well that shirt with the SBO bet ones with the crisscross, that reminds me of Louis Jimenez. Remember him? Louis Jimenez with bleached blonde hair, number 10, or Jack Collison, and that's and then I remember the sort of the season-ish around that time. But it's brilliant hearing some of the, and particularly the more experienced fans. When they talk about sort of the 60s and 70s, and it's just like a completely different era. It's just like
you end up wishing you could have seen it.
Oh, tell you, man. Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the work. It's nice to have a break from doing all the day-to-day stuff, so
good fun.
It's the one Zoom call people or video conferencing call that people like to do, so it's very good. And obviously thank you to everyone for listening as well. Like, share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're going to be listening to it on Spotify or podcast or Apple Podcasts or whatever. Obviously subscribe to the channel and watch all 143, 4, whatever now. It's pretty mental. And for myself and Tommy T, take care, everybody. Stay safe. Come in, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. You're going to do the cross hammers, Tom?
I do apologise.
Cheers, everyone. Take